kitchen. You just saw me recently upload stuffed cabbage. And we always have that on New Year's Day, but we always also have a roasted pork loin. So I was going to show you how I do my roasted pork loin. I know everybody can make a roast. You throw a piece of meat in a pan and you put it in the oven until it's cooked. Well, sometimes you do a little bit more to it and it comes out even more fantastic. So I'm going to show you how I do my pork roast. We just have a small pork loin here. I think it's like 4.5 pounds. And when I have a preference, I do not buy these prepackaged ones if I can help it, because these usually have a solution that they've been injected with. But my mom bought this so that we could have it for dinner. So I wasn't the one who purchased it. I usually go to a different grocery store and I buy it from the butcher, and the butcher is the one who takes care of it for me. I'm just getting some paper towel here because I want to dry it. When it comes out of that package, I always, I don't care what it is, if it's a whole piece of meat, I always rinse it. Along with my pork loin, what we're going to use to season it up is I've got a tablespoon of all of these seasonings here. We have some seasoned salt, some Mrs. Dash, some poultry seasoning, some onion powder, some marjoram, some garlic powder, and some cracked black pepper. Now, you can do this any way. You could just do it with salt and pepper. I think that poultry seasoning is an excellent choice to put on a pork roast because sage is the prevalent seasoning and it goes very well with pork. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get another paper towel and I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to mix these spices up here. And then I'm going to set it aside for a moment. And then we want to deal with the meat. Now, some people will cut this in half and tie it and make a double rolled pork loin roast. I have found over the years that if you leave it in a single piece like this, it cooks faster and you don't have to cook it as high of a temperature and you get a more succulent piece of meat. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take my little pokey paring knife here and I'm going to make a hole. And I have some garlic cloves here that I have, some of them very large, so I cut them into pieces. And I'm just going to insert them in the roast. And you want to make sure that you cut the hole deep enough so that the piece of garlic will fit in there all the way. And I promise you, it'll fit in there. And what will happen is when this cooks, those holes will seal themselves up. And when you slice into your roast, it will be studded with these wonderful cloves of garlic, and it will lend so much flavor to your meat. And I just insert my knife and I like to twist it a little to open that hole up. And then just press it in there. I know I made that hole big enough, so. Garlic doesn't want to go in there. Now, I peeled a whole head of garlic, so you don't have to use a whole head. You can use half a dozen cloves if you like. But pork and garlic, they go together like peas and carrots, peanut butter and jelly.
And you.
Rick and Noreen. Let's see. Put this one last. I see that one's going to give me a problem here. Sometimes when you're going through that thick part of the fat there, it doesn't want to help you at all. Okay, I think we're good. I don't think we probably need to put any more garlic in there. I'm just rinse my hands off really quick. And then we're going to move on to our seasoning. Just move this off to the side for a second. And just like when I did my roast beef, I did that a long time ago. And but I do a similar thing. We're going to crust. We're just going to put our seasonings right on the top here. And you can do it any number of ways. I got a little piece of garlic here that doesn't want to stay put. Okay, whoops. And I'm going to bring over my foil pan, and I've made a giant mess, so it's all right. And yes, I'm using a foil pan. Use the foil pan for my stuffed cabbage, and I'm going to use a foil pan for my roast because it's easy cleanup. And with all the big food that we've had over the last couple of weeks, I want this to be easy. But I don't want to deprive my family of having our traditional foods. So, it is what it is. You can choose to do it a different way if you like. Alright, now the only other thing that I'm going to do, you see these extra cloves of garlic? You just stick those down there in the pan, and they're going to get all roasty and yummy. And I'm going to put a little water in the bottom of this pan. Okay, what I am going to do though is I'm going to lift up my roast just a little and let some of that water get underneath it. That's going to cook out, it's going to help it steam, and then it's going to help seal in those juices. I have my oven, it's still set at 350 degrees. And now I'm just going to stick this pan right in there, and I'm going to let it go for a nap for about 2 hours. I'm going to take its internal temperature with my meat thermometer. When it reaches 160 degrees, I'm going to take it out and let it rest under a tinfoil tent, and then we'll be able to slice it and eat. So, I'll come back when it's time to take this out of the oven and have a look at it. So I'll be ready. Our roast has been in the oven for just about an hour, and we want it to reach 160 degrees internal temperature, so I have put the thermometer in what I feel is one of the thickest parts of the meat, and it is reading 160 degrees. Now I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to put it in another part of the meat, and I just want to see it keeps going up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it out of the oven. We're going to put some aluminum foil over it, and we're going to let it rest before slicing. Never slice your meat right away after it's come out of the oven. You want to let those juices redistribute. So I'm going to put some aluminum foil over this and let it have a little warm nap. I'm going to turn my oven off, and essentially my cooking is done for the day. We're going to wait for my folks to come. I'm going to make some gravy, and then I'm going to slice this, and I'll fix you a plate for New Year's dinner. So we'll be back in a little while.
Can't wait.
Okay, our roast finished resting. I've sliced it, and I returned it back to the pan that we had, and I just wanted to show you. When you slice it, and you get to see all these cloves of garlic that you studded in there, and everybody gets a little bite of garlic. And then this garlic that we put in the bottom of the pan is really delicious. Very, very lean piece of meat. A pork loin is always lean. You always know when you hear the word loin, you're going to get a very lean piece of meat. There's very little fat. Most of this is the water that I put in the bottom of the pan, so we steam roasted this. But without the foil, you know, otherwise we wouldn't have this beautiful crust, and this is delicious. So, this is what we're going to have with our stuffed cabbage, and some will have just roast, and some will have just stuffed cabbage, and some will have both. And we'll have lots and lots of leftovers, make pork fried rice or pork lo mein, and we'll have extra meals later of stuffed cabbage and porcupines. And I don't think you got to see the porcupines, so I'll go ahead and let Rick show you now. This is what they look like, and you can see why we call them porcupines, because you can see all that rice on the outside of the little meatball. These make a wonderful meal, And really, they stand on their own. You've got vegetable, starch, and meat right there in one pan. All you have to do is serve it maybe with some bread and a salad, and you're good to go. So, that is our big food for New Year's. And once again, I wish you a very blessed and prosperous and happy 2012. And until next time, I'll see ya.